Hello everyone, Derek here with Get Lost Trails. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am coming to you from the Kofa National Wildlife Refuge. Established in 1939 primarily to protect desert bighorn sheep, it encompasses 665,400 acres of the Sonoran Desert here in southwestern Arizona. The vast majority of it is comprised as wilderness, but it does have a few routes through it. The plan today is to drive you along those, see some of the sights in three primary areas. First, we'll check out Palm Canyon, Kofa Queen Canyon, backtrack north a little ways to the Crystal Hill area, and then probably tomorrow we'll check out the Castle Dome Mountain area, which is more in the southern portion. They're all really three separate routes that don't really connect within the park. Kind of have to just shuffle through them on the highway. You might be able to hit it all in one day if you get an early start and you have long days. It is the middle of February here though. It's quite chilly this morning. Didn't get an early start and the sun doesn't last that long this time of year, but I'm gonna check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for joining me.
The route up to Palm Canyon should be a pretty basic gravel road. It may get a little rougher as we get back in here, but it's pretty accessible. It's an in and out drive that ends up there and a short hike up to view the palms. Gonna continue on straight to Palm Canyon. It's 4 miles up here to that. Kofa Queen Canyon was off to the left there. See how pretty this is? And actually we're not too far. This road just goes right up there and kind of dead ends. You can probably make out the end of it here, or if you can't see it in the camera, it's basically straight ahead of us at the face of that mountain. Road goes as far as you can go, and yeah, you gotta walk the rest half mile to the viewpoint, but pretty easy drive up here really. I mean, you could drive this in a car. It might be a little rough and you wouldn't want to go this fast obviously, but you could drive up here in anything really. Last little stretch here, kind of washboarding in places. Vibration Central. Jesus. Here we are, the end of the road. Just about a half mile hike up to the Palms Viewpoint. Headed out on the short hike here, back to the Palm Canyon, the only area where palm trees grow naturally here in Arizona, surrounded by the beautiful Kofa Mountains, formed as a result of earthquakes 25 million years ago. About a half mile, 8/10 of a kilometer into the hike, you reach the Palms Viewpoint. Behind us there, up in that crevice, you can see the palms. Try to zoom in here and get you a little better view. They're quite a long ways away from the viewpoint here, much further than you might think by looking at some of the other pictures. It is not really possible to get up there, I don't believe. You can see that's quite steep and quite a long ways from us. Looks like it would probably take some ropes and mountaineering skills that I don't have. The Palm Canyon hike itself does continue on up past here into the canyon. Let's go a little further and check that out. Once you reach the first viewpoint of the palms there, the trail really thins out and becomes a little more difficult to follow and pretty rocky in places. You can see in front of me here, this is the trail now. I've been a little over a mile, a little over 500 feet elevation gain so far on the hike. I am at the end of what shows as the trail on my map here. It's supposed to be 1.3 miles in and out, and definitely gonna be more than that. I don't really see much from here. I mean, the canyon definitely continues above me a ways. It gets much more treacherous from here though. Basically turns into bouldering. It's not an easy trail as it's rated, I would say, at least not past the palm sign. And I'm not really sure why the trail continues past there, because you don't come up here and see palms. the palms are visible from the palm sign, and I'm not even really sure if it's possible to get up to them. I suppose there might be some long way back around to I don't know, but I think this is going to be my turnaround point. It's a pretty view up here. You can see where we came from even down at the parking lot there. It probably looks a mile away in this video, and that's because it basically is at this point. So anyway, it's been fun, but I think we need to get back to the bike and continue our day. Returning back to the trailhead here from the Palm Canyon hike. As I did it, I had just over 2 miles, 3¼ kilometers in and out. Now, if you just head up there to the Palms Viewpoint, you should be about a mile, 1.6 kilometers in and out, give or take.
Leaving Palm Canyon behind us there, head back out to the junction and then up to Kofa Queen Canyon to see Skull Rock. Sign says it's 5 miles up there, that'd be 8 kilometers. The road is closed in 8.5 miles. I'm not sure exactly how far we go, but head up here. Basically our destination is Skull Rock. Now the road does continue a little on past that, I believe.
Further you get back in here, the prettier it is. Where are we going here? We're going straight. Almost we're going straight. And there's some nice big rocks that we don't want to hit. Well, we're off of the nice road. The nice road is ended. We're now on a wash. It's not too bad. At least it's not a bunch of sand or anything. But yeah, some chunky rock. And there's some kind of loose rock like that. But it's pretty manageable, really. Yep. Don't want to hit that massive pile of there. Well, I think we're getting fairly close to the end of this. I've only met 1 Jeep and 2 Polaris Razors. We've made it basically to the end of the road here, at least to the end of my planned route. I do understand the road continues another mile on up in there where it dead ends. But I'd say this is probably the best part of it here. We got Skull Rock down here, which would make more sense if we could take a look at it from a different vantage point. Gonna have a little break and then head on out.
Alright, back on the main route here, Kofa National Wildlife Refuge, headed back to the highway, US 95. Not too far back out here, we're going to jump back north a little ways on the highway and head to the Crystal Hill area. Headed back here to the Crystal Hill area, as it's known, in the more northern part of the wildlife refuge. It's an area back here that's known for its high concentration of clear crystal quartz, I think. Unlike the other 2 parts of the park that I'm exploring in this video, this is more of an unscripted exploration. I don't have a route plans for this. This does go back in here quite a ways, and I don't know how much of it will do. Like, there's no real attraction back here, I don't think, except perhaps this Crystal Hill area. So at least want to go see that, see if we can see what that's all about, and then kind of go from there. We are in the Crystal Hill rock collection area. You're allowed to collect 10 specimens, or 10 pounds, whichever comes first, in a 12-month period. Imagine the ground is very well picked over, but maybe up on the hill or something. We'll see if we can find any on the ground to show you.
I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm in the Crystal Hill rock collection area though. Walked across the wash from where I parked there, and it looks like this is a pretty popular spot where people apparently go up on the hill. So I'm hoping that it leads me to somewhere fantastic. Well, I've walked quite a ways. I don't know if you can see how small my motorcycle looks behind me there, but not exactly a cakewalk up here. For one thing, I got too many clothes on to be doing this. For another thing, I'm guessing anywhere near this main trail has probably been pretty well picked over. Might venture on up here a little bit further and see if there's anything up over that ridge. Nice view from up here. Not bad to get off the bike and walk for a little bit, though I am slightly out of breath. So let's head back down, get back on the bike, explore a little bit deeper into this. Looking at the map, it appears as though you could continue east through the park here for quite a ways, eventually getting over to a north-south road that would take you up to Interstate 10. Some deer. First wildlife I've seen, actually. They're in a hurry.
Oh, coming up to some signage. Scottswell. If you want to go see that, there's only 1.5 miles to our right, or Jasper Springs is 7 miles. Yeah, probably not going to do either one of those. Let's continue on straight.
Still working east here on this pipeline road, as it's called appropriately. You can see here we're passing some infrastructure of that right now. On our left, this high voltage line continuing on the right. I'm not sure this is all that exciting. A little different soil type here. Oh, that's gonna be rough.
Well, guys, I think that's going to be it for this portion of the park here. Made it to the top of this mesa. I'm going to turn around, head back. According to my Garmin, I was 13 miles still from what it's called Vicksburg Road, Avenue 51E. That will leave a little something for you to explore on your own if you like. Get a little further out there. Alright, after a very boring and straight drive on the pavement there, we're back in the Kofa National Wildlife Refuge, or on King Road here, headed into the refuge. I'm going to take you on a little drive through here. I say little drive, it's actually a fairly lengthy drive, 64 miles. Takes us through the refuge. We're going to explore a little bit on a few side roads. Going to do one little short hike to a mine. And then eventually we'll come out further south.
Quite a bit of loose gravel right here. It's manageable, but it's, yeah, pretty loose.
Yeah, so far we're just cruising right on back through here at a pretty good clip. Just a gravel road, pretty well maintained, really. Still looking for my first turn. I got a side road here. It takes us up to a cave. Is this my turn? It says it is. Well, maybe I better look.
Okay, well, that's a sharp turn. And some weeds. After consulting my Garmin again,
I am on the track that I had mapped out. You can probably see there. So this is the route I want to take. The numbers just don't match the information I was given. Castle Dome Mine Road, my Garmin calls it. Definitely a lesser traveled route than the route we just pulled off of there. So far, it's just been a pretty basic drive across the desert floor here. Some rocky spots like that, but nothing too exciting. Oh, this looks pretty rocky here. We've entered a wash here, which is rocky but not sandy. Here's marker 53, whatever that means. Okay, well, watch for cave. Turnaround spot. Hike to tanks and return to waypoint 2. Join the wash, turn right, and out of wash at 53. Bear left. A little confused back there at that wash with that turn and the discrepancy between my paper information and my GPS track. And I realized what's happened is the side trip to the cave, that spur, wasn't on my GPS track, so we have missed that. I don't think it's a big deal. It didn't look like it was anything too exciting. It was just something I had intended to go to, but that's all right. We're continuing on here on the main route towards McPherson Pass at the moment. Okay, I think this might be McPherson Pass, because I knew it was going to be a little rocky. We did just cross over there and headed down. It's really not that bad at all, though. Not as bad as I was expecting based on some things I had been told and seen. This is pretty rough right here. I'm not sure why that goes that way. I guess people have tried to avoid this, which I can see why. Down it we go, though. So far, it's been a pretty fun ride. You know, a few challenging sections here and there. You know, loose sections in the wash, some rocky sections. No really sandy areas at all. You know, you're kind of surprised for being in the desert, but the surface here is pretty much a rocky, gravelly type surface throughout, even in these washes, like we're getting ready to come back into here. Found a nice flat spot here. Seemed like a good opportunity to get off the bike, take a little break. Not quite sure how far I'm into this, but I think I'm a good bit through it. My sandwich is looking a little sad after an hour and a half of getting beat up, so I'm gonna go ahead and eat it and then get on the road. Found the turn to Big Eye Mine. I think the sign said it was 15 miles. Quite a ways. If we had wings, it would be like 4.5. But because we don't, we have to go around this mountain formation here in front of us. Oh, hello. Not where I wanted to go exactly, but sure, let's go with it. Oh, oh, that's gonna be a rough one, isn't it?
still working back in here towards the mine. I think we're getting pretty close. I can see the end of the track there on my Garmin. I will say the terrain's pretty consistent. You're either kind of in these rocky washes or just driving across the desert floor, so nothing too crazy. Yep, this must be the end of it, I guess, because it looks like there's some ATVs parked there. Made it to the end of the road. If you want to head on to Big Eye Mine, you got to hike from here. According to my Garmin, it is 0.56 miles to the north. I don't know if you can see that, but of course that's a direct line. If I had wings, I don't have wings. There was some people on ATVs or UTVs that just left up here, and they said it was like a couple of miles up there. Now, I don't know if that's how long the trail actually is time you hike it, or if that was their idea of how far it was. They said they hiked there though. Of course, at one time, you would have been able to drive up here back when they were actively mining it. We've walked just over a half mile, just about 9/10 of a kilometer. You can see the structures here behind us. That's what remains from the complex of the Big Eye Mine. The actual mine shaft itself still showing about a quarter mile away. This is the cabin here for Big Eye Mine, where miners would have stayed while the mine was operational. It's pretty cool. There's still a couple beds in here and some furniture. You are allowed to stay. I kind of wish I would have brought my camping gear, got rested up, and headed out of here tomorrow. But needless to say, we won't be doing that. Quite a logbook there, it looks like. Unfortunately, somebody's used that water tin as a trash can. So yeah, pack your trash out. Kitchen sink, stove. Of course, there's no gas up here nowadays, but looks pretty fancy for a miner's cabin, really, all things considered. Even got a clothesline there. Miners actually wash their clothes. Who would have imagined? And I'm not sure what this is. Looks like maybe some of the water. I'm not sure if this is an additional living area or maybe showers. Is that what this is? Not sure. It's like some tin-lined areas here, which kind of, oh yeah, those are showers. Hey, how fancy. They had showers at the mine, which is weird. There's no outhouse. Just past the main cabin there, there's another structure that long ago succumbed to the hands of time. Looks like the roof is down there below it in the valley. The walls have collapsed. Of course, you can imagine some of the construction probably wasn't always the best, working with what supplies they had, and of course having to haul it all in, because unlike in Colorado, there's not really trees here in the Sonoran Desert to chop up and build things out of. Curiosity got the best of me, so I had to walk past the cabins a little ways and see if there was anything else. And we do find some more remains over here. I'm gonna continue to walk on up there, but it looks like probably what's left of some sort of ore processing. Yeah, definitely some sort of ore handling facility. Maybe just an ore bin, a storage bin, but where it would have been loaded out. And then it had to be hauled to the nearest town to be put on the railroad. I'm guessing the mine isn't that far away. It's probably right in above us. I do see some little rails that have kind of collapsed down there that would have been tracks the ore cars would have been on. Let's climb this heap of overburden real quick and see if there's anything up there. Just above the ore bin there, we have another building here, a little structure that I think would have probably housed an air compressor, maybe a boiler if that was necessary for production here. And we have the shaft of the Big Eye Mine right here. Go over here and take a little bit of a look. Of course, we won't really go in because you're not supposed to. White nose syndrome, it affects bats and you can carry it out on your boots and stuff. And of course, a GoPro ain't no good in the dark, but you can see it's still very well open. See the tracks running back on into the pitch black there. Had just over a mile, about 1 3/4 kilometers on up here to the mine shaft itself. I would say it's totally worth it to make that little walk. Very neat to see some of this history. We're gonna head back to the bike and start out of here. As I head back to camp and wrap this up, just a few last thoughts. There is a mining museum down there on Castle Dome Mountain Road that I had to skip due to time constraints. It was starting to get dark and the museum would have been closed anyway. Last I knew, that was $15 admission to go into that. That adds about 3 miles up a decent gravel road to visit that. Up in the northern part, the Crystal Hill area, if I'd had some more time, I would have explored a little further into that. I don't think it's as interesting as some of the southern part. There's a lollipop loop you can do there. It takes you out to Kofa Cabin, works down south into the park a little ways, and eventually back up to the pipeline road and back to the highway. That route does map out to be about 50 miles or so for me filming it would have took the better part of another day to do that. If you want to spread your adventure out over a few days in Kofa National Wildlife Refuge, there's many places that you're allowed to camp there. There's additional trails in the area as well outside of the refuge, and camping all over the Quartzsite area in general. That's going to wrap this one up for me. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button to let me know. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss my upcoming adventure videos. If you've been down in the refuge or in the Quartzsite area and have any other riding ideas for my next visit, be sure to let me know in the comments section. Thanks for joining me and have a good day. Found a nice flat spot here. Oh, you camera. You